Oh, all right, guys. So I am in halfway through St Andrew, and I am in front of the St Andrew Parish Church, a prominent place here in halfway tree, and I am going to be taking you on a tour of the cemetery here because it's a fascinating place and I've always wanted to come here, and so I am here now, and I am gonna be taking you inside so you can see what it's like on the grounds of this church. All right, guys, so let's head inside. All right, guys, so I am inside of the church now. And all around me, just graves and graves. And I will be walking and exploring the grounds of this historic church. A church filled with so much history. Look at this scene. Have you ever watched a Sunday matinee or, a movie and you see something like this? That's that road in between all the graves here at the parish church. Wow, it's cool here. It's relaxing here. Very relaxing. The trees are in the right places. And some of these people were buried like in the 1800s. All right, so let me see this grave. This is the grave of it says resting in loving memory. No, sorry. It said resting at the top. Then it says in loving memory of our beloved mother, Ella Cecilia Morehead, devoted wife of Charles Emmanuel Morehead, died the 5th October 1913, age 57. Ella Morehead was 50 years old when she died on October 5, 1913, in Drummond Estate, Clarendon. According to her death registration form, she was vomiting for 4 days before she died. She was born Ella King in 1857. At age 25, she married Charles Morehead. So it says, resting in loving memory of our beloved father, Charles Emmanuel Morehead, devoted husband of Ella Cecilia Morehead, died 19th June 1932, age 77. According to his baptism record, Charles Emmanuel Morehead was born on May 7, 1853, to Anne Lawson and Michael Morehead. At age 28, he married Ella King. The marriage happened on January 18, 1882, at Holy Trinity Church in Old Harbor, St. Catherine. Charles Morehead outlived his wife, dying at the Kingston Public Hospital. According to his death registration form, he died from strangulated inguinal hernia. So you might see some of these graves where the stone is broken off, and you're like, "Oh no, don't! It's not that the place is not being taken care of. It's that it's an old cemetery, and in every old cemetery, you will find some of the graves that fell apart, but it's not that the place is not being taken care of. Here we have another grave here. It says, in loving memory of Edith Beatrice, beloved wife of Arthur Keith Williams. Edith Beatrice Williams was a clerk at Jamaica Mutual. In 1909, at age 29, she got married to Arthur Keith Williams at St Andrew Parish Church, the very church she is now buried in. According to her death registration form, she died at 5 Musgrave Avenue, Kingston, from heart failure during a tedious labor. In other words, she died from a heart attack while giving birth. The baby, however, a baby girl, survived and was named Dorothy Beatrice Williams. After the burial of Edith, her husband, or widower, Arthur Keith Williams, moved on with his life. On September 24 of 1913, he married a 28-year-old woman named Ivy Jones, a cashier by profession. Together they had 3 children: Herbert Williams in 1916, Phyllis Williams in 1918, and Marjorie Williams in 1920. In 1922, Marjorie, the last child, died at only 2 years and 2 months. As you can see here, Marjorie is buried not too far from Edith. Marjorie, infant daughter of Keith and Ivy Williams, died on October the 1st, 1922, aged 2 years and 2 months, asleep in Jesus. Arthur Keith Williams, a clerk by profession, lived until age 58. According to his death registration form, he died on April 10, 1941, from heart disease. I believe he was buried in this graveyard, but I must have missed his grave. His second wife, Ivy Williams, died on July 23, 1967 at age 82. She probably was also buried here. So she's resting here for over 100 years. In 2022, it would have been 100 years since this little girl died. And of course, even if she had lived, she would have lived out her entire years. She would have lived out her entire years. You know, she couldn't have lived until now. She'd have to be 102 years old. Huge cemetery, huge cemetery. And I'm reading some of the older graves, if you don't mind. This is the grave of Louis Ivan de Montanak. He was a barrister at law. He died on February 28, 1928 from tuberculosis according to his death registration form. He was only age 47 at the time of his death. According to a publication in the Gleaner on Wednesday, February 18, 1914, he studied law for 3 years and was called to the bar in January 1914. Since then, he had argued many cases in court up to the time of his untimely death. All right, a lawyer, barrister. All right, so here we are at another grave here in loving memory of Neressa Eunice Mata. Neressa Eunice Mata died at the National Chest Hospital on August 28, 1991 at the age of 89 from a combination of medical problems, including cancer. She was born in 1902 in Albertown, Trelawney. She took on the Mata surname when she married a man with that surname. Her funeral was held on Wednesday, September 4, 1991, inside the church before they marched her body to this spot for burial. 2 of her daughters are also mentioned here, Gwendolyn and Phyllis. The 3 of them are buried inside of this. That's what they're saying. That the 3 of them are buried inside of this. That must be the case. Okay. And beside them we have, in loving memory of a dearest wife and mother, Albertha E. Anderson. Albertha Eugenie Anderson died at age 86 from what is called lobar pneumonia. According to her death registration form, she had the pneumonia for 7 days and died at her home at 1.5 Golden Road, Kingston 5, St Andrew. Who departed this life July 10, 1979 Rest in peace. 1979, that's when the PNP was still in power. Just a year before the PNP was knocked out of power by the Edward Seaga led JLP. 1979. I wonder how here was looking in 1979. So many things happened since then. I was not even born yet. I was not even born yet. And here we have in loving memory of Maud Johnson. Maud Johnson was 88 when she died on April 27, 1969. She was living at 15 Mullines Road, Halfway Tree. Just gotten independence some 7 years prior. So Maud was there to celebrate the independence of Jamaica before she died. Some of the people buried here were still alive. But of course, as time went by, just like with anybody, I can look in the future and I can know, hey, I'm not going to be here in 2100. So time will consume all of us. And here we're at the grave of, it says, beloved brother, husband, father, Ivan G. Donaldson. Ivan Garfield Donaldson died on the 19th of June, 1944 at St. Joseph's Hospital in Kingston. According to his death registration form, he was admitted to the hospital with appendicitis. He died 6 days later in the hospital from paralytic ileus. In this unclear Gleaner photo, he is the one standing second from the right. The photograph was taken on the morning of Tuesday, April 5, 1938, just before he sailed to England for training in social welfare work. He was a welfare officer employed to Jamaica Welfare Limited. So when someone dies, another born, right? Another born. All right, so here we are at the grave of it's in loving memory of Mistress F.K. Hannah Rose Bishara Ni Hannah, she was born in Peru, May 15, 1901 to May 24, 1987. And there's another person also here, and son Eli F. Hannah, attorney at law. He was born October 28, 1925, died April 17, 1982. All right. It's a huge place up here, you know. Yeah. And from the grounds here, I can see over there, and we're in halfway tree, so you can see Ruby's gas station from here. That's Ruby's gas station right there. The transport center right over there. That's where the transport center is, yeah. That's what they call it. Yeah. Alright, here's a small one here. A small one. This must have been a child. No, it wasn't. But it's so small. I'm not sure if I'm looking at the head part or if that's all of it. Or maybe there's an urn in there. I don't know. But it says, thankfully I'm in this under this umbrella because the sun is so hot. It says Merlin Andrea Suffrant. Suffrant. Soufrant. Suffrant. So Merlin Andrea Suffrant, nee Don, born December 9, 1945. That's when the war, the Second World War, was getting to a close, was over. And she died April 1. Tomful day, right? April 1, 1993. Okay, so she was in her 30s. 1945 to 1993. Or she was in her early 40s. All right, check it out. And beside her, we have, says, in loving memory of Archibald Lanigan, born at Liverpool, England, 27th of October 1875, and died the 7th of January 1943. Archibald Lanigan was a merchant. He was living at 9 Chivenian Road, Kingston, where he died on January 7, 1943. According to his death registration form, he died from myocarditis and heart failure. All right, Archibald, they were born all the way in Liverpool in the 1875. What was life like in 1875? Who can tell me what life was like in 1875? Know what life was like in 1875? No internet, no YouTube, everything that comes with the internet. There was no aeroplanes, there was no helicopters, so many things, no mobile phones. My word, my word, my word, my word. Here we are at the grave of it says, in loving memory of our dear mother, grandmother, great grandmother, and mentor, Annie Louise Kerr Small. January 13, 1913 to February 5, 2005. Her obituary in the Gleaner shows that Annie was age 88 when she died. She was living at 88 Meadowbrook Avenue, Kingston 19. Her funeral was held on Saturday, February 9, 2002. So she was described as a mentor by those who missed her. And that's a recent grave, of course. You died in 2002. That's recent. Look at this. Whenever time you come to a cemetery and you see a grave that is, hold on. You see a grave that is grilled round, it means that the love for this person and their memory is very strong. Some grass had grown, some thing has grown up around it. And you can see all those people left a lot of wreaths here. And over time, these wreaths fall apart, have become skeleton. And inside of it, it says, Nadia Alicia Spence, born July 1977. Is that 1977? Yeah, 1977. Died August 23, 1986. All right, but if Nadia Alicia Spence was born in 1977 and she died in 1986, it would mean that she was 9 years old. Okay. 9 years old. I'm gonna see what I can find about her. I need to see her death registration form. So I'm gonna take note of the date and and the name. Says Nadia Alicia Spence. Died August 23, 1986. And if I'm reading it right, we say that she was born July 19, 1977, then it means that this is the grave of a 9 years old girl. This is a grave of a 9 years old girl. 1986, I was so young at that time. Probably just going to school. Not probably, I was just going to school. Huge cemetery, huge cemetery, huge cemetery. Oh, look at this grave. Another simple looking grave also. It says, in loving and affectionate memory of a dear husband and father, Edward W. Pollack. 1906 to 1966. May his soul rest in peace. Edward Wallace Pollack died at his home at 3 Sandy Avenue, St Andrew. He was born in the parish of Hanover. He grew up and he became a planter by profession. At the time of his death, he was age 59. According to his death registration form, He died from myocardial infarction. All right. Many graves here. Many graves. And here we have a grave here. Like a little design was made here. It's been a long time. As I said, this church was founded in 1664. And they buried their members in the churchyard. So here we are looking at the headstone of, they say, in loving and dear, no, let me say that over properly. In loving memory of a dear wife and mother, Miriam Agatha Hay, died March 23, 1967, age 63. And there's some writing there. What peaceful hours we once enjoyed. How sweet the memory still. But you've left an empty space that words cannot fill. Miriam Agatha Hay died March 23, 1967. And she was age 63. You hear I'm pronouncing my 3 now? 3. So if I say 3 or 3, come on, guys. This is someone who was buried recently. I've heard this last name before, but when I heard it, I thought the person was making an error. When I was doing the video on Panhead, and they said his mother's last name is Carty, I was saying to myself, maybe the girl telling me the name wrong. But here is a Carty in loving memory of Clarice Carty, November 28, 1941 to June 2, 1923. Forever in our hearts, rest in peace. She was buried just last year, that is 2023. It's a huge cemetery. And I'm all the way down in the cemetery now. I'm way over in the back of the cemetery. So if you notice there are trees and bushes, you say, oh, they're not taking care. It's not that. I'm all the way back down here. All the way back down here. All the way back down here. Wow. Halfway tree, I've been here several times in halfway tree. I've just never been over on the property of the church. And they have a security guard at the gate. Very helpful, very intelligent man, mature, And when I came here, I thought, okay, they're probably not gonna let me in, but I came to the security guard. It was very helpful. And here we are at the grave of, it says, in loving memory of my beloved husband and brother Gerald Jasper Roberts, who departed this life 6th of May 1972, or in more familiar term, May 6, 1972. And they say, deep in our hearts, your memory is cherished. Rest in peace. Gerald Jasper Roberts. Died 1972. It's a huge cemetery, very huge. Some people are given fancy tombs. Some people are given simple tombs. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Each shall return to dust. And it says, this here say, in loving memory of Norma Joy. Norma Urquhart was vice principal of St. Jago High School and was former principal of the Jose Marti Technical High School. She died at the University Hospital of the West Indies. Okay, so she died in 2011. But she was born September 7, 1929 and died January 13, 2011. That tomb over there got my attention. I wonder if this guy was somebody famous. Could he be? Could he be? I love when there are pictures on a grave, you know. I'm getting closer to it. Look at it. It's lovely. It looks as if he was a blind person, though, even though he's wearing a glass. So let's get much closer to this one. It's lovely. It says, beloved son, Ronald Stafford Graham Jr. November 21, 1989 to June 5, 2021. He was born after me, he died before me. So he was born in 1989. And he died in 2021. So he would have been... He was in his 30s. No, he was over 30. No, he was in his 30s. He was in his 30s. And it says, loved and missed by Father Ronald Sr., Mother, that name, daughter Ronali, brothers Ronish and Andre, other relatives and friends. So he had a daughter, unlike me, who is far older than him and have no children. Maybe that's why I love to read graves so much. People compared me to a YouTuber from the United States, Lamont at Large. Lamont is in his 40s and like me, he's single with no children. I'm single with no children, and I love to go around and video graveyards. So we have something in common. I did subscribe um to to Lamont at large. I subscribed to his channel, and I was fascinated by what he was doing. And I saw an argument in the comment section where individuals were saying I was copying Lamont at large. I wouldn't say I was copying him. Um, to some extent, what he's doing influenced me, but I think if he wasn't doing that, I would be doing this. I would be doing this, you know. But as I say, Lamont at large, we had some things that are in common. Ah, it's a huge cemetery here, very huge. This person was buried recently. This is Westin Davidson Cole, October 16, 1935 to April 12, 2022. So that's recent. Westin. How old was he? Oh, you were old, Wesley. I mean, you born in 1935. In 2000, you would have been 65. 20 more years, 85. 2 more years, about 87. Look at this one. This was a nice one. A very nice one. It seemed like somebody living there. You can see a cigarette box, some clothing. So who knows? Maybe a homeless person made it their home, and it is the grave of Noel Augustus. What's that? Taffy? February 28, 1980, he died. Taffe. So Noel Augustus Taff died in 1980. And his place is now the home for somebody, maybe somebody is homeless. I could just walk and walk, and there's just a lot of graves here. A lot of graves here. I want to see who's buried here. I remember I went to Maypen Cemetery and I did this, and some of my subscribers said to me I should not be using my hands to be cleaning off the graves. And that's true, because I didn't have any water to wash my hand. It says, in loving memory of Grace Ann, what's this? Leamy. Grace Ann Lemmy died 10th of November 1959, age 91. Okay, so I finally got her surname correct. It is pronounced Leamy. Okay, so Grace Ann Leamy was born in St. Mary. She was living at 36 Camp Road, Almond Town, and that's where she died. According to her death registration form, she died from coronary thrombosis on November 10 of 1959. Here's a grave here of Okay, I don't like to use my foot to brush off the grave, but it says, at rest, sacred to the memory of our beloved mother, Ethel Maud Barton, died 28th of April 1958, age 72 years old. Ethel Maud Barton was living at 47 Old Hope Road, St Andrew, and died there on April 28, 1958, at age 72. According to her death registration form, she died from coronary occlusion and cardiac failure. What was Jamaica like in 1958? So the war had just over. Jamaica was still a colony of Great Britain. Many Jamaicans at the time, we call it the Windrush, they wanted to go over in England, the motherland, as it was then called, because the war was over, the country suffered some damage. Mother England wanted people to come and help rebuild the country. You know, a lot of works to be done. So 1958 was like the Windrush. And it was a nice time to leave Jamaica too, because there was no visa requirement. Of course, there couldn't be any because Jamaica was a colony of Great Britain at the time. I want to make this video about an hour long, that means some of the things I do here will not make it into the final cut of the video. All right. Oh boy. Wow, this tree is so relaxing. It's very cool under this tree. Very cool. I love this. Look at this tile. They tile it with a different tile here, then they put a different tile at the top. Tiled very good. It says in loving memory of a loving husband, Harold Neyman. What's that? Atkins, Aitkens. Atkins, born the 9th of the 8th, 1915, died the 5th of the 9th, 1998. Rest in peace. So you're here from 1998. I stopped going to school in 1998. And the grave behind him is all cracking up, and this because of this tree. The tree here. Let me read whose grave it is, because this tree look like it putting this person out of existence or their memory. It says Sydney Swettingham Folks, born 11th of August 1904, died the 3rd of January 1993. So that's Sydney Swettingham Folks. All right, Sydney, that tree is giving you a hard time. I'm sure Sydney must be like, what the hell? Why did they plant this tree beside me? It is pushing me away. Yeah, it's breaking him up. Yeah, it's okay, Sydney. Oh, oh my God, what's happening here? Oh, Father Lord. Something hitched on my umbrella. I had to buy this umbrella. I did not come all the way from St. Elizabeth with this umbrella. You see this umbrella here? I didn't come all the way from St. Elizabeth with it because when I came over here the first time, like within the first half an hour, I realized that the phone was heating up. And so I had to just go back out there and buy an umbrella. Lillian Henriques Nee Lopez. So she was married to a Henriques. When they say Nee and whatever they put there, that's the maiden name. So it's Lillian Henriques Nee Lopez, died 14th of December 1982, devoted wife and mother, loved by all. That's nice for a person to say about you. You're a devoted wife and mother, loved by all. Lillian Henriques Nee Lopez. Who knows? Her husband probably passed on since then. 19. Some subscriber or viewer said that when my camera shakes a lot, that just come to my mind to keep my hands steady. I love the design of this. This is a nice design. Very nice design. And it says, at rest, Mildred Bertha Ferrari. Ferrari Nee Leon. So this was a woman. Her first surname was Leon. Mildred Bertha Ferrari. Somebody pronounce that for me. Ferrari. Mildred Bertha Ferrier died at St. Joseph's Hospital from chronic osteomyelitis at age 81. I feel like I lost myself in here. God, I feel like I must have lost myself in here. I'm gonna check this one out here. This one gets my attention. Says, in loving memory of Tim Copstick, born 9th November 1920, died 5th September 1954. He was just 33. Died a little before his birthday. So he was 33. Tim Copstick. Copstick. I've never heard that surname before. Copstick. Okay, I'm gonna search up Tim and see if I don't know if I'll find any picture. It's like 1954. So quite a long time. Quite a long time. These two graves over here. They are well kept. Like they were just refurbished or something. Look at this. La 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 la. And they are the Foot family. So on the left here we have says in loving memory of Arnold Foot, 1889 to 1968. Arnold Foot Sr. was a very respected man. He was a solicitor and a notary public. He died at St. Joseph's Hospital. According to his death registration form, he died from bronchopneumonia and a stroke. His funeral was attended by diplomats and dignitaries, including Edward Seaga. He was later cremated and his urn put inside this tomb. Norma Deepas is the daughter of Arnold Foot Sr. Of course, she was born Norma Foot, but she got married to a man called Roy Deepas. And that's why her name is Norma Deepas here on the tomb. And over here we have another Foot, obviously a member of the family. And it says, in loving memory of Mary Foot, wife of Arnold Foot, died on the 12th of March 1961. Okay, so she died before her husband, because her husband died in 1968 and she died in 1961. So that's her grave, the grave of the wife. And this is the grave of the husband and daughter. And there is another thing here that says Arnold Foot again. So this must have been a son, Arnold Foot, 20th of November 1934 to the 2nd of December 2021. So that must have been a son. Yeah, a son. The Foot family. Sometimes you ever ask yourself, who came up with some surnames? Who came up with some of those surnames that you name? I mean, somebody had to, because, I mean, who else? God is not going to come down and give any surname, but somebody had to come up with all those surnames. My feet are tired. I'm just gonna read one more and I'm gonna get out of here. Okay? One more. I'm gonna read that one, yeah. See that one, yeah. My man must have slept. Okay. I can see that the groundskeeper is now eyeing me. It says, Mistress Iris Winifred King, born September 5, 1910, died May 10, 2000. Iris Winifred King was the first female mayor of Kingston, Jamaica, serving in the position from 1958 to 1959. She also became a member of parliament and a parliamentary secretary. Born on September 5, 1911 in East Kingston, she attended Kingston Technical High School in Kingston and later the Roosevelt University in Chicago, USA, where she studied political science and public administration. Before going overseas to attend the university, though, she, at age 22, married the love of her life, 28 years old Seward King. The marriage took place on August 30, 1933 in Franklin Town. Seward was already a pilot, and at the time of the marriage, Iris was a stenographer. The couple had 4 children. Mistress Iris King joined the People's National Party in the year 1938. Seward Herman Augustus King was obviously the husband of Iris. He was born in the parish of Portland. He became a pilot very early in his adult life. He died at Nuttall Memorial Hospital. According to his death registration form, he died from carcinoma caecum. That is colon cancer. All right, guys. So this has been my tour of the grounds of the. Okay, just before I go, this got my attention. Hold on. This got my attention. Look at this one. This looks something like the Victorian age. It says in loving memory of Alexander McDowell. This impressive and elaborate tomb belongs to a deceased male called Alexander McDowell. On the tomb it reads, "In loving memory of Alexander McDowell Nathan of Kingston and Little Heath Wood, Herts, England. Born at Upton, Trelawney, June 25th, 1852, and met his death in Kingston during the earthquake, June 14th, 1907. So obviously, Alexander McDowell died in the 1907 earthquake. As many of us already know, there was a massive earthquake in Jamaica on Monday, January 14, 1907. It happened around 3:30 p.m. and measured magnitude 6.5. The earthquake lasted for 30 devastating seconds, causing damages to towns such as Port Maria, Buff Bay, and Anata Bay. But Kingston got the full force of the earthquake, resulting in over 1,000 deaths. The earthquake caused a fire, which contributed to the large number of deaths. 501 of the dead could not be identified due to being badly crushed or burnt in the fire. And so those dead bodies were buried in a mass grave at Maypen Cemetery. The body of Alexander McDowell was obviously identified, and his elaborate tomb still stands in good condition after 100 years. I love it. The design is awesome. You look at this design from way back and you're like, why is it that some of the people nowadays can't, they can't replicate some of these designs? Well, I'm not saying they can't, but the new designs you see nowadays, they are more simple to some of the older designs of graves. I think more work was placed into the designs of graves back in the 18th century than now. Look at this. This is design. I like this. I like this. It says, in loving memory of Ada Isabel, wife of Gabriel Machado, and she was born January 13, 1893, and died May 16, 1923. She wasn't that old. Ada Isabel was born Ada Isabel McGregor in 1893 to mother Helen Whittingham and father Reverend Charles George McGregor. Her parents had 13 children. Ada was the last one. On December 1, 1921, she married Gabriel Ruperto Machado. This immigration document shows that she was one of 17 passengers on a ship sailing from Kingston, Jamaica to Ellis Island, New York City, New York. The document shows that the ship departed from Kingston on April 1, 1923. The document listed her as age 30. The next result I got on the website called familysearch.org shows that Ada died on May 16, 1923 in Manhattan, New York. That's 46 days after she departed Jamaica. I could not find her cause of death. Gabriel lived until age 78, dying from prostate cancer on June 1, 1960. I'm not sure where Gabriel Machado is. Look at this. This is look nice also. The designs are beautiful. All right, guys, I'm leaving the churchyard now. So I hope you have enjoyed this chapter exploring and these are some earlier graves. This is like Sarah Baker Smith, born in Bermuda, died 22 of February 1883. And beside her also are other people who have died in that period. Kitty kitty. Let's take a look at kitty kitty. People are scared of cats. Seeing cats inside of a graveyard, they're like, oh my God, that must be a ghost. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's just an innocent little cat. And I'm leaving now the grounds of the St Andrew Parish Church. All right, so what a difference! What a difference! All those people who died back in the 1800s and who died even the 1700s, when they were alive and they were walking from this church, it was a different view for them. This is the 20th century. Motor vehicles, signs. Wow, wow, wow. Halfway tree at a different time. Oh, if they could have seen how this place look now, I'm sure they would have gotten used to it, you know. They would have gotten used to it, but I'm now gonna be heading to a different location. I'm using today to video. I'm using today to video to make 2 videos. I have to make use of today. And you can know when I do a video the same day, you know, because you can see me in the same clothes. Oh my God, the traffic is heavy up here. Halfway tree.